right, everybody. Welcome. I am Jules of Thought, and today is, thank God, it's Friday, and it is October 7th, 2022, afternoon. Yeah. So I hope you guys are all doing very well, and obviously, you can tell I myself am feeling much better. I listened to another YouTuber last night. I believe well, I don't know where she's from, but girl, I feel your pain because she sounds as bad as what I felt all last week. Sounds like she has exactly the same, cold, chest congestion, sinus infection, the whole thing. So, yeah, it's tough. It's pretty rough. So anyway, I am better. So welcome. Glad you guys are here. Now, uh, in the hubbub that has unfolded this week, I think it is clear that Kiely Rodni is simply not ready to be taken off the radar in the streets of YouTube. Um, I know a lot of uh, YouTube creators that had moved on from the whole Kiely Rodni story, basically electing to wait for November to arrive so that we can get the official determination by the cops, and we all kind of moved on. We were looking at some unusual cases, um, one being, of course, Debbie Collier, and that's a really, things are looking very bad for the daughter and the for the daughter and the boyfriend of the daughter. So there were many of us that had pulled back a little bit. Now I don't know what everybody else's process is when the Chris Watts case ended, when the Lori Vallow case kind of got into the legal system, and they're slow rolling it. There comes a time where you've spent a great deal of time and you're immersed in these stories, and you're spending all of this research time reading, looking, trying to find anything that you can, talking about it with friends and family, and just basically exploring what in the world could have gone wrong, and it sort of takes over, right? It becomes the center of your thoughts and your life. And the same thing happens in regular research from an academic perspective. You go through the same exact process that you spend 3, 4, 6 months on literature review, and then you go into developing your project and collecting all your instruments, or you're setting up your experimental condition. You gather your data, you do your analysis, then you write it up, and then once you get it submitted to the journals or the publications that you're interested in, then you're just kind of left going, okay, what now? I've just devoted a year of my life to this research project, and now I don't know, what to do with myself. So there is a skill to detaching and pulling back and finding a new direction. And so I've wondered, watching this whole thing with Kiely Rodni, I wondered, is this going the way that the Chris Watts case went? That we were all quite immersed in the whole thing. And then there was a group of people that just don't really have the skill set to pull back and kind of reorient it and get started in a new direction. And that's why we started getting all these crazy stories coming out, right? And they all seem to hit like Monday, maybe Sunday night, it started a little bit. And then, damn, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, to Thursday, everybody's starting to kind of collect their thoughts. But things just twisted off and just went bananas, just went crazy, right? And so now I'm rethinking that, and I'm thinking, no, I don't think this is people that are trying to invent content like we saw in the Chris Watts case. Oh, I talked to him on the phone. Oh, he's my boyfriend. Oh, we're gonna write a book. None of that. I'm thinking that this is a chess game. If you know what I mean by thinking that this is a chess game, put a 1. If you have no idea what that could mean, chess and Kiely Rodni, put a 2. Just curious. Gray Hughes is now pushing that this was an accident. He is calling people idiots that think Kiely's death is suspicious. Yeah, but Judy, that's just his normal. That's his view of most people, I think. Well, no. Let me speak on what I can. I think his view is of the people of YouTube. I think he thinks they're idiots. He frequently uses that word and others. He often talks in a condescending way to his subscribers, and they love it. Don't get me wrong, they like it. Um, but to me, I appreciate him. I was actually going to give him a call out on, a shout out on the whole daylight overlay that he did on the footage of the car going into the water. I think that was really helpful, and so anytime he can put his technical skills, to work to try to clear up some of the chatter, I think it's always helpful. I don't think it's helpful to call people idiots. Hey, niece. Hey, Ms. Babe. Hey, Teresa Fountain. Welcome. Thank you, Teresa, for your nice comments. I am feeling better, so thank you. Yeah, so I don't think it's helpful to call people names. Certainly not, people that like you and like to listen to you. It's probably not a good idea to ever use shame and humiliation. Um, you guys heard me last week or 2 weeks ago kind of calling out Scientific Skeptic for using that same type of tactic, which is public shame and humiliation to sort of try to control a narrative. And I think it's wrong. I think it's a bad step. I don't think it's ever helpful to shut down conversation. And I certainly would never think that, my opinion was the only right opinion and everybody else should shut up. And if they didn't shut up and agree with me, then they're stupid. I can't even imagine, can't even imagine having that idea. That it's off-putting for most people, I think. But anyway, so he did do a good thing, putting the daylight overlay onto it, and it does take aware, those fire cameras. They want to pick up on the slightest little flicker as soon as possible before it has time to build and grow. Correct. So that is why you're seeing these large, giant flashes of light as the cars are moving around. It's not because somebody was dishonest. I don't think. That's my opinion. I don't think it's somebody being dishonest. I think it's the artifact of the type of camera and the reason it's up there. That particular setting and whatnot is to pick up on the slightest bit of light, to catch a fire as soon as it starts up, right? So, yeah. So, hey, Paula, welcome. Good to have you. Hey, Sky Z. So let me go ahead and kind of get into my commentary, and I wanted to be sure that I'm giving you opinion. Okay, I'm not here to tell somebody they're right or they're wrong. I think they're picking up heat rather than light necessarily. Yeah, maybe, Critter Watcher. Yeah, you could be exactly right about that. I'm going to have to do some research into that. I think that's a really good point. Uh, just trying to think if I know somebody that might have that information. Let me give it some thought. I may know somebody that would have good knowledge of that and instruct me. But that might be exactly the but see, the heat signature cameras that I've seen, they're not using white light. No, heat signature. I think heat signature cameras. It's different. It picks up like an orange color. So I don't know. Let me try to find out. I've got people that I can talk to and ask. I'm talking about educated scientists that I know that can tell me. Um, We need Dylan, the map guy, to come back to chats and panels. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so a couple of things. So, of course, what in the hell is everybody talking about? They're talking about Mama Megan, right? Megan is now dominating the talk circuit on the streets of YouTube. Now, you juxtapose that against Sammy, who was the favored topic of conversation previously. And this lady, Megan, she has basically erased Sammy from the limelight. And I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of thinking that it's by design. If you think that Megan's role is to become the public face of the Kiely Rodni story and to draw the attention away from the young people and Sammy, um, and kind of draw the chatter toward her, put a 1. Do you think she's intentionally being kind of controversial? What's your opinion? So Cooper thinks yes. Muffin Top, you're so mean. That sounds like Gray Hughes. Sky Z, Paul Labonte. Oh, okay, good. Well, okay, so we're all in agreement here. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that she actually says try to she talks about Sammy like Sammy is this principled, uber honest, great friend. And she says, well, Sammy is the only one that came forward. Have y'all seen that? Hey, Tootie, don't mess with my toot toot. Don't mess with my toot toot. You can have the other women, but don't mess with my toot toot. Welcome, Tootie. I love your name. Um, yeah, so she actually says in one of the interviews when she's outside at her house, and she says that Sammy's the only one that came forward. Y'all remember that? Sammy is the only one that came forward. And then through some really great questioning by the YouTuber, then it comes to, well, I had gone on ICTML and I had seen All American, I don't know what I want to call him because he's gotten himself involved in some gross things. But the All American, not cartel, All American dream catcher, dream chaser. And she actually says, Megan actually says that she told Sammy about a couple of YouTubers, and she follows up by naming ICTML and Tony. We can gangbang her, Tony. Creepy, right? The same Tony that featured the whole is it Salisha Singh, right? I mean, the guys, the connections are questionable. I'm not saying what they mean. I don't know. I don't have any kind of a crystal ball or the ability. I'm not omniscient. I don't have the ability to read people's minds, but I can tell you that Mr. Tony has really he let's be honest, he says and does some things that are very fringe. For anybody to even think that necrophilia was even like a topic of a joke, that's fringe. You don't even get stand-up comedians that are willing to make that type of joke. So, and they're kind of Tony Dodger, Codger, creepy beepy, right? And he has said some pretty odd, strange things. And I felt like his reaction to people that had been his friends, people that had been good supporters on his panel night after night after night, and when they saw the whole gangbang comment and they were just like, hey, dude, what's going on? Even Carnial, that that he turned on him, and it was so bizarre to watch his reaction as they tried to talk to him like in a really logical way, and he was just like, your mama, yeah, because I have to, yeah, because I can. Shut up, I'm not gonna let you. Be quiet. Yeah, you're stupid. You're dumb. Yeah, your mama, shut up. And it was just, it got weird very quickly, right? So I don't know what it means. Not assigning any kind of blame or point fingers, but I know enough to see something unusual to say, hey, that's out of the ordinary. That's not what we generally, see. So the fact that both Megan and Sammy are wrapped up with Tony and Ikmail, and Ikmail is a well-loved YouTube creator. I'm not pulling him into it. I'm talking about the pattern, right? The pattern, um, the pattern of these two people. So I kind of think she had said that Sammy was the only one that came out, put her face out there, but that Sammy became the front line. And I'm going to say this: I disagree with you, Megan. Jagger put his face out there. Mags put her face out there. Kate put her face out there, and they did not catch not 1/10 of the questioning that Sammy did. So you are being disingenuous, in my opinion, when you say that Sammy was the only one that came forward. That is simply inaccurate. It is not true. Um, Now that brings me, because it seemed like as Megan came on the scene, all wrapped up in Sammy. I mean, can we be honest here? We're all moms and grandmas or aunts here, right? We've all got kids in our lives that we love, that we would stand up for and try to protect and help them, correct? Would it occur to you as an adult, would it occur to you to go to the most popular girl in the high school to say, hey, my son's having problems socially, and maybe you could help me. What's going on with him? What's he doing wrong? Why don't the other kids like him? Does that seem odd? Does that seem strange that she even thought that was even remotely appropriate? So that's another point to the whole Megan story. I don't understand her bowing down to Sammy's power. I don't get that. Seems hungry. Seems uh, it seems like a woman responding within an environment, a community where Sammy has sort of been built up within the community as the princess. It is very weird, Jen. Yes. Like people have sort of lifted Sammy up as a wise sage. Correct? Uh thank you, AP. That's what I wanted to say, and I couldn't figure my way around it. Yes. So everybody look at AP's comment, because I didn't say it, AP said it. It seems odd that you are in a community where there are $1 million homes. That was the norm, right? The median value home was like 1.8 or 1.9 million. That's just staggering. And we've all seen now the documentary Everyone Counts, and we find out, well, actually in Truckee, no, not everyone counts. If somebody takes a disliking to you because you may be homeless, or you may be living full time in a camper, you may just find yourself drowned. Yeah, weird coincidences abound. So, and I feel very comfortable citing that particular documentary because it was made by academics, well respected, highly accomplished people in their fields. and a accomplished mainstream media investigative reporter. So I'm pretty good with their information. I'm trusting and believing in the documentary Everyone Counts. It's on YouTube. If you guys haven't watched it, wow. You need to watch it, and you need to read the Truckee bylaws. Yes, this is very strange. This seems it's odd. And you've also, don't forget, you've got this cultivation of collecting all of this privately owned land, paying astronomical money for parcels of land to include in this one big Truckee Tahoe land grab. Well, I mean, that's not what they call themselves, but that's what it is. It's a land grab. It's worth something like, I did the math the other day. It's getting close to, if you go by 1 acre in Truckee, 1 acre is worth approximately anywhere between $600,000 and $1.2 million for an acre. And the number of acres that they have within their purview, where they're controlling the land, their board is controlling the land, the whole damn thing is already up to being valued at something like $1.3 billion. And they're acquiring more land every day. And you know what they're doing with that land, y'all? They're turning it into, they want it to be a wilderness area, but have things like a biking trail, and they have, like, if you go to one of the lakes, then there'll be boats and things there that you can just take and use for the day as if it were your own, and then you just leave it where you found it. I mean, this is the ultimate in that whole ideology, utopian kind of, ideology, which has been proven academically that, a utopia is a really fine idea and it works well among like-minded people, but it always leaves a vacuum of power at the top, and a vacuum of power will always be filled by the most narcissistic person in the mix. Correct? Who do you have sitting at the top of the Truckee Tahoe land grab? You got 6 people there forming a board, and wow, they are basically sitting on a little kingdom. Okay. So, it's California, Amy. Amy is 100% correct that of all the places that this idea could find realization, I believe that Northern California is it. I mean, this is an area where John Podesta has land. Nancy Pelosi, they have land in the area. So, this is a special kind of area. But Kiely Rodni was not in a family that was going to parties with Nancy Pelosi and John Podesta. Okay, they're on the other side of the spectrum in Truckee. They're the bohemian. Hey, isn't it great that we have all of these free bicycle trails and hiking trails? It's so awesome. And it's not even occurring to them that people walked away with millions in order to give land to this group. It was an act of the ultimate in capitalistic endeavor. And who benefits? Those 6 sitting at the top of the board. And it is those 6 that are telling the community, see how wonderful this is? We're giving this to you. You can have it all. And how long will that last? Right? Zuckerberg has a house nearby. Wow. Well, I'm not surprised. He is part of he gets invited to those parties, right? He's definitely on the inside. He's definitely been very active politically, in terms of get out the vote, and things like that. And so, no, I wouldn't be, it wouldn't surprise me not a bit that he was, comfortable in that area. That wouldn't surprise me. The state pampers the wealthy. And Amy's got a really great point there. I want you to think about while Truckee is working on, now listen to this. Listen. If you have a complaint against your neighbor, this is in Truckee, okay? If you have a complaint against a neighbor, if you guys can't work it out, or whatever, it is not your job to try and, draw attention, make people see that you are being wronged, that you or your property has been violated. No, 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 no. Whose job is it to do that? Do y'all know? I bet Niece knows. Niece is on top of this story. Amy probably knows too. Do y'all know? If a citizen has a complaint against like another citizen or landowner or whatever, the board, yeah, the city council, or it's officially a town, right? So it's the town board of directors. Yes. Wow. Wow. That is the craziest idea to me. So if it's not some dumb blonde goes, Sammy, you may be right, dumb blonde. Sammy may be, she may have been crowned as the next, CEO of the town board, right? So, yeah. So this is definitely a uber progressive community town. This is a progressive town that is trying to really establish like de facto principles and daily activities, policies that are really, really, really consistent with, the good of the many, right? They're really trying to make it work. And here's the problem, and most historians would come in and tell you this. It is that it is an exercise that has been attempted and tried many countless times throughout history, and it always fails. Because by nature, it leaves a vacuum of power, and power provides protection. And notice, it's not power meaning violence. You don't have to have a violent person at the top, but you do have to have someone at the top who is thinking logically and rationally and recognizing, hey, sooner or later, all that land, what are you going to do when there's a fire and it all gets burned to the ground? Because you've told us that we can't go in there and clear out the underbrush because it's not natural. Okay, well, if you're not going to go clear out the underbrush, then you're going to get a very natural forest fire that's going to wipe you out. And when you get wiped out, all of that burned undergrowth and trees and whatnot, it's going to replenish the soil. And in 100 years, you're going to have a beautiful green forest again. But in the meantime, everybody in Truckee will have lost the value of their homes and gone, to live in San Francisco, where people are zombies on the streets because they're taking the most god-awful drugs imaginable, right? So there's got to be, let's face it, Lindsay says, oh, well, no, there's balance. And I've heard a lot of people try to put their opinions out there about what she meant by now there's balance. Can I give you my perspective of Lindsay's comment? Now there's balance. I will tell you, I don't know what she meant, but I will tell you, as a grieving mother, I would have a very difficult time reconciling what would ever be a balance to my daughter passing away at 17. There is no balance to that. There is no comparable win when the loss is your 17-year-old child, right? If you agree, put a 1. If you disagree, put a 2. If you think I'm in the wrong, put a 2. I'll own it. Do you think they are Buddhist? So are you sort of referring to the possibility of maybe where a child is born, there is to a death? Is that? I live in a town in Northern California that in 2018 had 18,000 homes burnt to the ground and 100 people burnt to death. There you go, Callie, right? But it's natural, isn't it? The natural life cycle of the forest. It's natural. And the burn, the destruction actually replenishes the soil. And so then you begin to grow this really rich, lush forest again. It may be natural where Mother Nature is concerned, but it is not natural for the human being who's living an 80-year life cycle. It's just destructive. So going in and cleaning out the underbrush, it keeps little animals' homes from getting burned down. And it keeps the big animals' homes from getting burned down too. But you have to be allowed to do it. And with the Truckee Tahoe land grab, there'll be nothing unnatural except your little bicycle trails, right? Okay. It's a mix of religious Hinduism. Yeah, so Nice and Paula they're on to something here. There's also a great number of Scientologists. Let me say it accurately. People who write articles that are consistent with the practice of Scientology seem to be published quite a bit in those newspapers in Northern California. There actually was a, what do you call it? Was it I don't remember if it wasn't a convention. Maybe it was like a training, like a seminar. I think it was maybe a seminar. The Scientologist actually did like an open seminar in Truckee itself. So they've got some very powerful people. I'm talking about Truckee has some powerful people there that at least are interested in the whole Scientology, gig. I think we can all agree that Scientologists, it's really a big money grab, right? And I mean, it's probably the epitome really of MLM. They take kids, drug addicts off, homeless kids, runaways, take them off the streets, clean them up, give them some clothes, tell them that it's now their job to go out there and get, find more sick kids, disenfranchised, people, and bring them into the fold. And then in the meantime, they force them into what is basically, slave labor. They have them sleeping in rooms where there's 12 people in a room, and it's crazy, right? Yeah. And if you've never read L. Ron Hubbard's work, his books, it's pretty crazy. He had quite an imagination, I think. There is a Scientology hub in Sacramento that has been there since the 70s. So probably like one of the originals, right, Truth Seeker? Yeah. Okay. So what is Lord Rama? What is this? Hold on. Paula says Lord Rama is a religious leader, last name Swami. Where have we seen Swami before? Is it Arizona? Am I right about that? I think it's Arizona, and there were some connections to the Chris Watts Crestone. Is that what you're referring to? So cultish, Lusa. Yeah, I can. Yeah, and so I'm disturbed by the speech related to Kiely and her I've said this before. I'm disturbed by the celebration of life that was supposed to be for Kiely Rodni. And in my opinion, it really was more like a celebration of Truckee. If you felt like it was more like building up the town of Truckee, the community of Truckee, put a 1. If you think that I'm out of line and I'm being a little bit too fringe, put a 2. He hated me because he couldn't brainwash me with Dianetics. Well, stand strong. So that is not something that you want to have leading your decisions day by day, I think. Yeah. Bless you. lest you find yourself in the jungles of South America drinking strange concoctions, right? Yeah. Okay. So Jennifer, I respect that. Thank you. Jennifer thinks I'm out of line, and I can accept that. Yep. Okay. So yeah, I felt like listening to it. I felt uncomfortable. I felt that it was more of the it was more of a celebration of Truckee. And I think there may have been a push to recognize the community and thank the community for all they had done since Kiely had disappeared. I noticed that Megan was not part of the celebration of Truckee. Um, but that leads me to the second part of my live. And so my live, is about AWP. Yeah, Dumb Blonde has got it right. If you watch the Lee Remini videos on Scientology, it's so interesting and it's chilling because the wife of the head of Scientology just disappeared into thin air, and Lee, is she, she wants her friend back. She's trying to get information about what happened to the woman, and she's been attacked. People that she's gotten to help her have been attacked, and it's a bad deal. Welcome, Zelda. I knew someone who gave several $10,000 to Scientology to go clear. He was promised it would cure his bone cancer without ever needing surgery or treatment. He lived only a few months after giving. That's heartbreaking, Zelda. And I hope you and Larry are doing well. Thank you, everyone, for cooperating and keeping your mouth shut. Very strange. Yes, there's honor in silence. No, Lindsay, there's not honor in silence. There's crime. Crime lives in silence. Criminal behavior thrives in the dark, Lindsay. And you're an intelligent woman. You know that in your heart. You recognize that. I happen to recognize that Lindsay is a business owner in this community. I recognize that if Lindsay tries to speak out about the obvious wrongs that have taken place, then she puts her business in jeopardy. And this is one of the big problems with this type of utopian community, is that it's being built on and controlled by group think. There is no place in Truckee, California for individualism, correct? It's all about the group, the collective need. That's all that matters to these people. They've been marinated in it, and now they're on a slow boil. Collectivism, 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 until it is your child who goes missing after a party. And then when it's your child that goes missing after the party and no one comes forward, and the cops paddle around, in water where just 4 or 5 feet beneath their feet is your daughter, and yet they don't see anything, they don't think anything, they don't know anything. It's like the 3 monkeys, right? See no evil, hear no evil, and damn sure speak no evil. There is honor in silence. Okay? So she is in a difficult situation in this particular community that she's got to play the game, y'all. She has no choice. She was born there, grew up there, and now she's got this business. And if she speaks out, what happens? There is no honor in silence. Criminal activity thrives in silence. What do they call it in like New York and the whole gang, mobster? What did they say? How much to buy your silence? Is that the lingo? Have I got that right? We need a New Jersey girl here to tell me if I got it right. Buying your silence. Correct? No, Lindsay, there is no honor in silence when there's a dead child. There is no honor in silence. It's just criminal activity. And it requires silence and darkness. Now, we have people speaking out, or at least people have been trying to speak out, and now we have some light. So there's no more silence. And now, Gray Hughes has got us the light. Now, this video, sadly enough, the gossip, or let's call it the story behind the fire cameras, the cops actually had the video, knew that there were car lights going into the water. What was it, 2-3 days after the party, sometime within a 96-hour period of time since the party, correct? How is it just getting to us? I don't know, unless somebody leaked it intentionally. Unless somebody that is in the know sees corrupt crap about to happen and they don't want it to happen, and so they put out this video with the light. It wasn't Gray Hughes. He didn't originally put it out. But with the story, apparently the story is that this young lady there's a young lady who looked, she was at the party. She looked, she saw the lights and had the thought, wow, that car is super close to the water. And then she turned back around to like get a drink or get something. And when she looked back up, the lights were gone. It bothered her for a little bit, and she ended up calling 911, is the claim. I can follow up with that by saying one of the investigators says they have a printout of the 911 calls, and there was no call on that date and time that she claimed. No call. So I don't know which one is right. And if you got the cojones to pull off this level of fraud, then you're probably perfectly okay to go back and delete a call off of 911, right? It's probably not going to be like the worst thing you've ever done. My cynicism is showing. I own it. I accept it. And I could be wrong about that. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I could be wrong. But I'm just telling you my frame of thought. Remember, see the sign, my opinion. Okay. So we have a young woman, and we heard this in the early days. Remember, we heard this kind of gossip. It would pop up every now and then. Well, one of the party goers saw her go in. Some girl claimed that she saw lights in the water. Remember that? And we didn't have any kind of verification of that at all. And then now we do. It comes at a fairly convenient moment, don't you think? We're looking at Megan, who has now grabbed a hold of every camera of every YouTube panel. Megan's talking. She's making the princess rounds like Sammy did. We have the camera, the footage coming out, the fire cameras coming out showing. We have Lindsay and her family shutting down the GoFundMe in an effort to try to freeze out AWP from rightfully accepting the $75,000 reward that me donated to. And I'll tell you when I donated to it. I donated a sizable amount after AWP came out and said, okay, we're going to stop what we're doing here and we're headed to Truckee. And I put in money to help fund that search. I did. Just like I didn't give any money to the whole Suzanne Morphew thing until Suzanne's brother got together with Interview Room and can't remember the other one right now. When they got together and they did the big community search, I was given all of my AdSense money that I got every month. It went to their search and rescue that they were doing. And I think it was like 3 or 4 months worth of the AdSense went to the Suzanne Morphew thing. So when it came out that AWP was headed to California to do this search, and then they were going to do the Fuentes case, I'd made a sizable donation in addition to me being just a regular, member of the channel that I pay every month for that, because this is the important part of my life today. It is my opinion that the work that AWP is doing is invaluable. Mike King, yes, thank you, Teresa. My poor old brain. Thank you. Yeah. The work that AWP does is invaluable. Okay. Now, we look at these cases of missing people and we think, wow, that's terrible. What could have happened? It's sort of the mystery of the whole thing, and it gets our attention, and then we're all in, right? And it becomes this big mystery, and we're reading and we're searching and trying to see what could have happened. However, we are not the ones that have lost a child or a parent or a husband or brother. We are people that are watching. We're observers. You agree? We're not detectives. We're not going to solve a case. Okay. But AWP is much different than that. AWP kind of comes in after all hope is lost. After law enforcement, the locals, the friends of the missing person, they look and they look and they look and they look. And finally, when all hope is lost and they just go, oh, well, we'll never know the answer to this. Maybe they're alive somewhere and one day they'll come home. The net effect of that many of us don't consider is what happens when the cops walk away from a case. What happens when there's no one there looking for this lost human being? What happens? Well, I tell you, the family, the wives, the husbands, the moms, the dads, they retreat into their homes, into a personal life of hell. Hell that you and I don't know. We don't know what it would be like to lose our 16, 17-year-old child, have zero idea where she must have gone. So it turns into this life of hell. And the people that live this life, it's Groundhog Day for them. It's just the daily waking, ritualistic, putting one foot in front of the other, saying to themselves, where, what happened? Where is she? Who's got her? Is she being taken care of? Is she being tortured? Has she been sold into sex slavery? I'd rather my daughter be dead than be in sex slavery. And I've seen mothers or fathers weep as they realize these things of there's worse things in life than death. I don't want my child in suffering. I don't want my child in physical pain. I don't want my child living humiliation every day. And so the people that are left behind and they don't know where their child is, they have no idea where their child is. They live in an alternate universe that you and I can't comprehend. And here's what happens with the unknown. This is for you and for me and anybody else that faces the unknown. Our imagination tries to fill in the blanks. And our imagination can take us to some really dark and frightening places. So if you don't know where your baby is, if she's gone missing, you have no idea where she is in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, in your mind, you're not going to have your pretty little baby married and happy with 3 kids living somewhere in Des Moines, Iowa. That's not what's going to be in your mind. That's not going to be what you're thinking is happening. Your very worst imagination, your worst nightmares, they will get routed into this. I don't know where she is, what happened, who took her, and you will live the rest of your life with this excruciating fantasy of who is harming my child. And that is worse. than at least knowing where your baby is, knowing that your baby is at peace, knowing that there is no pain. And that's where AWP steps in. Think about it. If you're the person that is left day after day after day wondering where your 22-year-old son is, all you're doing is sitting at your kitchen table day in and day out, having images and fantasies of all the horrible things that could have happened. And that gets put upon moments of relief where you engage in fantasy of his great homecoming. And you know that leaves no room for what? Healing. If you're sitting at your kitchen table every day and the whole world has moved on and no one is looking for your 22-year-old son anymore, you are stuck in a time warp. And there's no healing. There's no hopes for a better future. There's no reconciling the loss and then moving into a new reality, a new daily lifestyle that can bring you some joy and peace. At least if you know that your 20-year-old son or your 17-year-old daughter, that they have passed away and they're no longer in pain, at least you can reconcile the loss, and then you can work forward into a new normal. You can find happiness again. You can find joy again. You can build new goals and new objectives, and you can move forward into a new level of peace. That, Lindsay, is why AWP is so important. AWP gave you a great gift, and a gift that you don't really recognize because you didn't live the life of 20, 30, 40 years of being stuck in the nightmare of the day that your daughter went missing. You have answers. You have peace. She is not being hurt. You can invest your future into your son and your family and your business and move forward and find happiness. That's really the balance. That's really the true balance. So that explains, and most of us get that because we're not in shock. Most of us understand that because we're not in grief, we're not in shock, we're not living this. I can't even imagine the nightmare. I can't even imagine how horrible. But we recognize that not having the answer can really be a nightmare, and that to know, to feel control, that there's not going to come a shock, there's not going to be a surprise, that you know what your life is and you can make plans for it to improve. We recognize that to be one of the greatest gifts that someone can give to a crime victim. And so we celebrate AWP, right? We look at what AWP and other dive teams that do the similar type of work that they do, we look at them with a sense of gratefulness that they have a skill set that's valuable and they can bring unmeasurable relief to hurting families. And then when those families get their answers, they almost all say the same thing. I am at peace now. I know at least what happened, and now I can re-enter life. Now I can once again become a part of my community and go through the daily motions and at least set some goals that will get me back to a healthy place. So AWP, the reward fund was not really very large until AWP joined in. When the word got out that they had, at first they had said they were not going, they were at another place, that were busy, and then the Fuentes store crime that came up, and so they changed their schedule and they said, okay, let's go over there, it's close to the same, let's do both of those and see if we can help. And as soon as it got announced, no, they really are coming, they changed their mind. And we got another young woman that's missing in the same area. At that point, there was a great deal of money that came rolling in to the reward fund. And at the time that I put my money in, which they claim that the sizable donations have been returned, when I heard that, I checked my PayPal. I made a $500 donation. I don't know if I make $500 donation to a group to help them pay for gas, I would think that's a bit sizable, wouldn't you? But and I don't tell you guys what I do. I don't nobody needs to know if I help out, whatever. And just like it's nobody's business if y'all help me out. But I made this $500 donation after AWP said we're going to Truckee. It was specifically to help fund their operation to find this young woman. It's not been returned to me, and now the GoFundMe went through multiple iterations of what the fund was for, right? And it got changed from a reward for information leading to the discovery of Kiely Rodni. Somehow it got manipulated and moved and manipulated and changed until now it's come full circle around, and now it's the reward money for the family. Yeah? And I'm sitting there, I'm going, wait a minute. You are a business owner in one of the most wealthy towns in this country, and $500 of my money, where I struggle day to day. I have multiple contracts. I work 7 days a week, literally, to pay my way, to pay my mortgage and whatnot. So why am I going to take $500 and give it to somebody who's raking in cash? That doesn't make sense. No, that money was given to, I thought, was given to try to help with what AWP was doing. I had complete faith, and I feel foolish. I'm going to tell you straight up. I feel foolish that they go out there and they do exactly what I thought they were going to do, which was to find the car, i.e. Kiely. And that money absolutely should have gone to AWP. The whole, we've invested 19,000 man hours, but well, you didn't do bunk. I'm just putting my opinion. Please remember, this is my opinion. It was strange and off-putting as Sam Brown stands up in front of the camera day after day after day, telling us all of the money they've spent. Oh, we had this many man hours and this many man hours, and we did this, and we had this many divers and this many people and this. No. The only statistic that we were interested in, Sam, was one young lady. That's it. Did you find her? That's all that matters. I believe that the reason there was such a focus on how much they had done is because they are going to bill the state for not finding Kiely Rodni. Sounds a little harsh. I get it. But at this point, we are way past mistakes here where this law enforcement is concerned. These are not mistakes. It is not a mistake to have divers 5 feet away from the car where this baby was. It is not a mistake to have a person call and say, hey, I'm at the campground. I just saw a car go into the water. I know exactly where it went in. And she told them they didn't go there. It's not a mistake that people said, hey, you know the fire cameras? I think I see a car going into the water. You should look at this. And no one comes to look. Not a mistake. It is not a mistake to tell AWP after they find her, hey, get your stuff and get out of here. But you let SF Investigate stick around. Why? He's supposedly not affiliated with you guys. He's not a part of your community. Remember, he just flies around and just goes to different crime scenes to just hang out and look and see. By the way, do you guys know where the footage comes from with the car lights going into the water? Can anybody tell us? I'm going to wait as I take a drink of Diet Coke while someone says where it originated. Anticipation. Anybody? 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 Steph is the winner. Steph and Jen. That is correct. SF, Steve Fisher Investigates. He is the leaker of the fire video, the fire camera videos. Yeah, Teresa Fountain, what do you think about that? SF Investigates is the one that dropped the information on the cameras and the timestamp for where to find the particular point of where the car goes in the water. Very interesting, isn't it? Yes, indeed. Very interesting stealth mode. Yes. So, that is not a mistake that the police make. AWP, they're the ones that find this young lady in 32 minutes after they're directed away from that area and told, no, we've looked here so much. There's no way she's here. You go over to another lake and look. And what was the first thing when they came out and said, oh, look, AWP found the car? Sammy's the first one to post. And she said, this is a lie, not true. She didn't even question that it was wrong. Why is that? Because they had been redirected to the wrong lake? Not a mistake that Kiely Rodni's computer rolled out of the window of the car and left on the bottom of the reservoir. Not a mistake. We have blown through the confidence interval for, okay, now we're outside of what's expected. No, there is no natural description for how badly this group has mishandled this investigation, other than it looks like it's been on purpose. There is honor in silence. Okay? So I don't hesitate again to say, wait, no, this is weird. It's crazy, right? Now, let's see, am I ready? Okay. So for Kiely Rodni's family, and I don't believe that her father, her biological father, and maybe even to some extent her grandfather, I don't believe that they were the ones that stopped the GoFundMe, interfered with the payment of this GoFundMe to AWP, which AWP rightfully is owed that money. In my opinion, 100%. Okay. I don't believe her bio father and I don't believe her grandfather is at the heart of this weird, don't use Kylie's pictures. Okay, Lindsay. And there may be people that think I'm out of line for thinking about this situation as I do, but I went back and double checked myself. Lindsay was very vocal about, here are my daughter's pictures, spread them around social media. We need to get the information out. Please help me find my daughter. Please, please, please help me find my daughter. Who remembers this? If you remember the appeal to all of us, put a 1. If you don't remember it, put a 2. Thank you, Cinnamon Hot Hot. Thank you. There's your 1, right, Cinnamon? Thank you. Hey, Laura. Okay. Yeah, we got a lot of 1s here. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Kathy does. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, Megan Cole is the lady's name in Truckee. Okay. So thank y'all. Okay, so y'all look, everybody remembers that she approached us. She approached us and said, hey, we need help. And what did we do? We all did the same thing. We started sharing her photographs, her story, the missing posters. We were going live for hours at a time, talking about it and showing and encouraging people. Here's the car. Look for the car. Here's the license plate. I can remember one night where we were all just listening to the scanner because somebody had claimed that they had Kiely, that they saw her car, and it was the wrong license plate, but it was the proper VIN, and the car was in the gated community. Y'all remember that? Yeah. So she was fine that we were all in and helping and trying to force law enforcement to do an Amber Alert, so that, because we didn't know if she'd been taken out of state. Creepy Tony had said that somebody said she was in Florida, of all places. And so we were all trying to make these things happen. We did exactly what you asked us to do, Lindsay. And AWP did the ultimate. And there's not a reason in the world that any person, sane or otherwise, would be angry with AWP for doing exactly what Captain Sam Brown and Sheriff Shannon Moon did not do. And yet, who gets the celebration of Truckee? Not only did you celebrate this group of people who it was either a comedy of errors or police corruption at its highest, I don't know which, but you celebrate these people that make some of the most ghastly mistakes imaginable in the search for your daughter, and you follow up by basically stealing the reward from the very people who went out of their way to help you. And it's not sitting well. This newest move where you're going to deny this, you're going to manipulate and lie to steal the $75,000 from Adventures with Purpose. This is too much. This is a big misstep on your part. And one of the reasons that I say that it's a huge misstep is what will happen now in the future when we have another missing person. When we have another missing person and the family comes out and says, please help us. How many of us are going to go, I don't know if I want to be called names again. I don't know if I want to do this and get a whole community pointing fingers and saying that we're, unprincipled, horrible human beings. And I certainly do not think that AWP is going to run up and jump and try to help another grieving mother after what you guys have done to them. So, decisions and actions, words have consequences. and you may have your own frame of mind about what you wanted, how you wanted Kiely's disappearance to be told, what story you wanted for Kiely. And you may feel like AWP blew that out of the water. Maybe you wanted Kiely to be some mystical, mythical kind of angel. The reality is that she's a brilliant young woman, and she lost her life in a way that is highly suspect, and nothing in the world is going to change that. And you did the wrong thing. You villainized the wrong people. Now, my last comment, so my support is for AWP. I'm no longer bowing down to someone who seems to be, well, I think Lindsay's motivated in a way that's a little unusual, that in a way that I don't quite understand. I'm not I'm not saying she's, a bad person. I'm just saying I think I think I'm struggling to understand celebrating the people that don't find your child and villainizing the people that do. I think it's bad form. And AWP, they deserve the reward money. They do. They do. It's just they do. All right. My final comment. All right. So I want to talk about the video, the fire camera. Everybody's seen it. Everybody's spent hours staring at it. The whole 9 yards. It's no secret that Gray Hughes, he believes that this is proof that there was no foul play. Right? Lost audio? Really? That's weird. If you can hear me, put a 1, because it looks like you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. We stand with AWP. There you go. Okay, y'all can hear me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who was that said lost audio? These trolls. Okay. All right. So, Gray Hughes, not him specifically, but that he believes, and a lot of people believe, not just him, that a lot of people believe that the video is verification that, oh no, it's no big mystery. Now we see exactly what happened, and it was all, she just drove into the water. Okay. And he's calling people idiots if they think otherwise. I'm a bit surprised by that, actually. Not that he's calling people idiots, because he quite often does that, but I'm a bit surprised that he's being so short-sighted about this whole thing. Number one, I never discounted that the car went in the water that night. I always said it went in the water, and we pretty well know it went in the water because the timing, the last call that was made, the ping, all that had it right there at the water. And yeah, that I felt pretty sure that was true. So, I feel like that the video is important because it now stops the conversation. That it stops the conversation about the car, that Kiely was not in the lake when the cops were searching, when they had their dive teams there, and that somebody put Kiely's car and herself into the water the days before AWP showed up, right? That's what it looks like to me. Look back at footage of the car going into the lake. It looks like she did a donut before going into the water, but who was driving? Did she do a donut before going in the water, or did she simply turn around and back up into the water? Question. Now, that kind of prematurely brings me, hey, Shelby, that prematurely brings me to this second point. And that is, and I kind of thought, well, should I show the video when I talk about this? And I decided no, because I wanted this to be an opinion piece. But you can certainly go over to Gray Hughes' channel. You can look at the video yourself and you can see what it is that I'm talking about. So there are some anomalies about the lights that I have questions about. But here's what I don't have any question about. Gray Hughes set it up, or the person SF Investigates, whoever made the clip that Hughes is using, it's set up so that it continues to run, right? So even after Kiely's car goes into the water, allegedly, even after it goes into the water, you're still watching the aftermath. So it's eerie. Don't get me wrong. It's, take a few deep breaths if you haven't seen it. Watch. Oh, thank you, Megan. I see you, Megan. Yeah. So I'll put my link up there, Megan, if you want to come up and chat. Hold on. Not share screen. Hold on. Invite. I'm gonna have to get my headphones to paste. You don't have to come up, Megan, but just out of a courtesy, if you want to come up, you may. So keep watching, because after allegedly what appears to be the car going into the water, the camera continues to roll. And wait it out, go all the way to the end. But one thing I want you to notice is that there are cars that come back there, but they don't ever go all the way down to the water's edge where it looks like the car went into the water. There's two cars. One of them looks like they just sort of take that left and go around and then come back up onto the main road. Another one goes a little bit further down towards where Kiely's car went in the water and then makes a turnaround before driving off. So I'm not altogether convinced, like Gray Hughes is convinced. I am not convinced that this is proof that there was no foul play. If anything, I think it answers a question of mine, and that is, did anybody go down and check to see what had happened? And in this case, did somebody go down there to retrieve, to pick up whomever may have backed that car into the water before getting out, having wet clothes, and going home with wet clothes on? So I'm not going to play the video here. We all know where the different people that are playing the video, and they have it and whatnot. Go watch it. But don't just turn it off after the car looks like it goes into the water. Watch the two cars that come up and then eventually either go off to the left or turn around and go out the way they came in. And then there's another part of the video that I'm questionable about. I think the car's going too fast. I think that what we're looking at, the car looks like it's going on a smooth road, and we know that it's not. We know that it's got deep ruts in it, and it's dirt, and it's bumpy, and it was a pretty treacherous road according to AWP. And so the timing looks wrong. It looks like, why is the car just driving like it's on a smooth blacktop highway? Because it's not a blacktop highway. So that was that. Okay. So do I think that it's actually her car going into the water? I have no reason to believe that it's not her car going directly into the water, number one. And I think what makes me uncomfortable about it is, number one, I am uncomfortable that this bit of footage pops up now at this point in time. And I feel very uncomfortable that it basically was dropped by SF Investigates. That's number one. It's highly questionable. The origination is highly questionable. And it comes out at a time that you've got Megan coming out as a surrogate for Sammy and Truckee, I guess, in general. It just seems contrived. The whole thing seems curiously convenient, right? And it all is happening at a period of time where most of the YouTubers had already turned their attention to Debbie Collier and other cases. So it's odd, it's strange timing, and I'm skeptical. By my nature, I'm a skeptical person. I don't think it's proof that nothing nefarious went on. I think those two cars that come up after she's gone in the water and then turn around, go the other way, I think that looks bad. I think it looks like somebody went down there to see what was going on. All right. Fueled by coffee and true crime. I wish I had some coffee right now. I watched Olivia do hers. She's a pro. Did she do the Gray's video? Ooh, you're trying to get me in trouble, coffee and true crime. He played it at double time. He doesn't show that it stopped. Such deception. Olivia plays in real time and will be out soon. Great. Thank you. I wondered, man, thank you for saying that, coffee and true crime, because that was one of the highlights for me. I kept watching that video and I kept thinking that car is not going 50 miles an hour on that little tiny, dirt road with deep ruts. No way. And I'll tell you why you're here, stirring up trouble, coffee and true crime. Here's another question I have. How many cars do you know of would float around in the water and the lights would not be, the battery would not cut off? Why didn't her battery cut off? Why is the car just bobbing around out there in the water? The back end going down first? No, that we know the heaviest part of a car is the engine, correct? While the lights would have been shining initially, as soon as the water hits the battery, all of those breakers are going to get fired, and there'd be nothing else up. Welcome, coffee and true crime.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Come on in here and get me in trouble. I'm all for it.
I am not on camera this afternoon because Olivia had me up until 4.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Well, I am thrilled to find out that Olivia is putting out a video.
Oh, man, it was fun. We were laughing, joking. I was watching her work. And, oh, yeah, Gray Hughes has me pretty mad today.
And you're upset because of the way that he portrayed the film?
Yes, that too, because I watched. Okay, so he had like 2 or 3 versions of his work when it first came out. And I mean, I thought that I typically, or normally previously, I should say, thought that he did good work. And I saw his first video that came out, and I saw all of the light refracting everywhere. And I was like, where are all these extra headlights coming from?
Exactly. Yeah.
When he was showing the car allegedly going into the water, and I was like, okay, there's this car going into the water, and then all these extra lights just appearing all over the place. And where's all this coming from? These lights weren't here before,
And all that movement kind of stops after her car goes in as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, all these lights just kind of go away. Well, all it was he just did kind of a crappy job. And what happens is when you zoom in before you do your overlay, when you zoom, the computer will just automatically add data to pixels. So you're adding data where it wasn't before.
Okay.
And you're just not supposed to do that. You're supposed to add your overlay before you zoom in. If he was a pro, he would know that. Olivia knew that. She added her overlay before she zoomed in, therefore it's crystal clear. You'll see that when you see her video. It's beautiful.
Wow. Well, does she know when she's going to post it?
Sometime today. She was hoping to get it done while Betty was doing her live, but Betty did a little snippet of it. It looks really good.
Wow. Well, I'm happy to hear that. That's good.
It looks really good. Yeah. So, but yeah, Grace had sent her that message. You used part of my video. Where's my credit? And I was like, ha, that's funny.
Lord.
Because I literally sat there watching her do it and was having her show me how she did it, what program she used and everything. So I know for a fact she did her work.
Why does he think that she used his video? It's out there raw. The raw footage is out there that
I know.
Wondered taught everybody how to actually go to the camera itself and pull the video that day.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because she used the daytime shot that she used was from the same day.
Yeah.
And he had said on his video that he used a daytime shot from the day before, which was kind of disingenuous, if you asked me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he did his overlay, if you watch his video, he did his overlay over the fog, over the foggy area. If you watch his video, you'll see when the overlay starts to play into the video, watch it, it plays into the fog.
And it's very frustrating. Yes.
You'll see that it starts to blend into the fog. So you can't really tell where it lands in the video. Suddenly it just appears out of the fog.
Yeah.
I don't like that because you can't really tell if it's really lined up with the landscape, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that that's very, I just didn't like that at all. When you see Olivia's, you'll see it. It comes right out of the landscape, so you'll be able to see it matches. And the other thing that I had an issue with was he says point blank in his video, oh, yeah, it's playing at double speed. Why would you play something at double speed if you're trying to show what happened?
That's foolish, right?
Because, yeah, you're playing at double speed, so you're not showing what actually happened. You're skipping a lot in the video. You need to be playing it at the slowest speed possible.
Yeah. Well,
it's not showing that that vehicle stopped.
So can you tell me, where did the vehicle actually come to a stop at?
It's pretty much at the edge. It looks like it pauses, like maybe, in my opinion, allegedly. I think we're supposed to say that.
Yeah, it's okay. You're fine.
Maybe somebody jumped out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I would say. It would give enough time for somebody to jump out.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, that's what I would say. It would give just enough time for somebody to jump out. It looks like it does a spin. It's really weird if you watch the video. SF Investigates has it in his head that she is in the vehicle from 12:51 a.m. Okay, he's the one that put this out there about this footage, right? Of the cameras.
Yeah.
He thinks that it's her car at 12:51. However, there's a guy on YouTube. If you look him up, he's got a fantastic video that explains that 12:51 p.m. a.m. vehicle is just turning around. It doesn't disappear into the water. He has a graphics program that reduces the contrast and the brightness. Where you
I wondered what the effect would be of doing that, because it is so, sensitive to the light.
Yeah, it reduced the brightness, and I want to get a hold of him and see if he can do the same thing on this other vehicle. When you turn a vehicle, you can see how it goes bright and then on one side and dim on the other, when you're turning.
Yeah.
And you can see that at the 12:51 in his video, where he was able to reduce that contrast and brightness just enough where you can see that the vehicle's turning and turning around.
So who is it that did that video with showing the turnaround at 12:51?
He's called Lake Guy on YouTube. I found him on Twitter. I did a search for SF Investigates, and I just went down the timeline.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because you spent a lot of time with Olivia while y'all were working on this video. What's your opinion of the 1251 turnaround?
It's just a turnaround. I think that's probably, it happened about 2 minutes after this car appears to go into the water.
It looked like to me there's two cars that kind of come down to that same spot, and they don't proceed all the way down to where Kiely's car was. One of them turns off to the left, and the other one seems to turn around and go back out where they came, right?
Correct. Yeah, they're stopped. They're stopped at, I have notes here. They're stopped at 12:26 to 12:30. 12:26 to 12:30 is when they stop right there. And then at 12:51, they turn around and they take off from that spot.
Now, I'm skeptical. I'm suspicious. I own all that. That to me bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because if you've got a group that's going to try to do something to get this car into the lake, were they there to pick up somebody that might have been trying to make that happen? Or were they checking on what happened? Were they watching? It just seemed, I wonder if anyone has been able to identify who these two cars were.
I personally think I know, but I don't want to really say. I think I know who it was, and I think it was probably TikTok dude. I'll say that.
Okay.
I think a lot of people know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
I named him early on to Zav, and she didn't take it seriously.
Really?
Uh-huh. Real early on. I emailed her screenshots and his actual TikTok video, and she didn't take it seriously at all.
So he did it. So this guy did a video down by the lake or something that night?
Arriving there, no damage to his truck, and then a couple of days later had damage to his truck.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about, the white truck.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah. You know who he is?
Connor.
Really?
Yes, baby.
Wow.
He was, there's somebody that contacted me that said that that's actually who was Sammy's ride home. And that's why his name has not been spoken out loud. I'll go ahead and say it because he's over 18. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's an adult. Let him face it. I think it's time for the truth to just come out. Don't you guys? I mean,
I am ready.
I'm not saying chat, but tell me what they're saying. Don't you guys think it's time for the truth to come out? Put a one.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody in the chat, if you feel like it's time for this whole, sneaky, nobody's coming forward. None of these kids took a photograph or video.
They're not kids.
Yeah. If you think it's time for the truth to just come out, for the cops, just take a deep breath and just let the whole story out, put a 1. And if you think the story is out and there's nothing nefarious, put a 2. And let's see what happens. And since you don't have access to see, okay, so I'm seeing all 1s. Still all, there's a 2 from Isle of View. Okay. Let's see if we got another. Oh no, it's the same 2. Same person, put a 2 again. That's okay. Make your opinion known. Lots of 1s, lots of 1s. I
actually saw a creator yesterday, a very large creator, not very large, but a mid-sized creator yesterday during a live say that if their child was in this same position, even as a young adult, they would tell their own child to keep their mouth shut. Couldn't believe I heard that with my own ears.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. No, yeah. I would say, hey, this is part of being an adult, being responsible for your behavior. Yeah. If you were around when something was going on and you didn't reach out for help from me or somebody else, it is your responsibility to own up to what you know. Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Especially before they found her, because you run the possibility that maybe what your kids saw or did could have led to finding her.
Exactly.
Right? Like if it had been an abduction and she was still alive.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You would let somebody's child sit underwater like that for 2 weeks? and get
Yeah.
nibbled on by fish.
No, I would not.
Really?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons that I think that this character assassination that's going on with AWP, it's one of the reasons that I feel really strongly about it, that they've really now crossed over a line. And that is that there is really nothing worse on this planet than not to know where your child is.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
it
can
is a
imagine.
special kind of hell, and families can spend 30 years, on Groundhog Day, a nightmare, where
Yeah.
every day it's just a repeat of where are they, where are they, where are they,
Oh, I
and
know.
in their mind, the child never grows older. You're just stuck in a time warp of desperation and pain.
Oh, I can imagine. I have a Kiely. I have a Kiely at home. I have a little girl
Oh,
named Kiely.
that's so
And
sweet.
she was late for her curfew the other night. She's supposed to be home at 8 o'clock. She's almost 11. And I'm telling you, I went into panic. She was
Yeah.
20 minutes late and I went into panic.
Yep.
Come to find out it was just a misunderstanding. But 20 minutes of panic for me, right? I'm driving over there to where she was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And, just for 20 minutes. I couldn't
And
imagine not knowing where
imagine
she was for 2 weeks. I couldn't imagine. No, no, no.
imagine 10 years. Imagine sitting there every day for
Yeah.
10 years, just playing over the facts that just playing them over and over, the special, terrible, hell. And AWP comes in and they stop those nightmares. They come in, they give an answer. And then the great thing is that the families now have the ability to find some final resolution and then look toward the future and rebuild a new normal, that's worth living.
Yeah.
So they really are doing something that's much bigger than simply, oh, look here, I got it. The way that families benefit when they finally get an answer to a lost, a runaway or a missing family member, you can't put a money value on it. You really
No,
can't.
you can't.
And I
Speaking
felt like the celebration of the people that didn't find her, and then the villainizing AWP, it's
No,
just
how
so hard
bizarre.
to. Yeah, I just can't. It's so confusing to me.
It's been just so backwards,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So weird. I mean, I get having a tight knit community. I understand that. I come from a very small town, but still, I mean, I see this photo of AWP on your screen and I see heroes. I see people who are really good human beings who are making a difference
Yes.
and who really want to do good, who found a purpose
Yep.
for their lives and who found a greater cause and are doing good. They're out
Yeah.
there every day doing good. And I think that every penny of that reward should go to them, period.
Me
And
too.
full.
I'm on the bandwagon. Absolutely. Yep. So, in fact, I
Totally.
didn't donate. I didn't donate to the whole reward fund until they said that they were going to come and do this. And I even went live and I said, this reward fund, it doesn't have limitations like the Suzanne Morphew. It says, it's going to be paid for anyone who helps find her. It doesn't say safe return, found alive. It doesn't have any of those types of limitations on it. It looks to be an authentic, genuine, fund. And I gave a sizable donation. And it sort of metamorphosed into this, oh, no, ha ha ha, this money's for the family. And now, of course, they've taken, the whole thing. So
Yeah, they
crazy.
really, yeah, you really could go back. I've run a GoFundMe. I did a huge, huge GoFundMe for a children's choir in honor of a very famous person who I cannot name because it was anonymous. It was a very large, larger than this for a children's choir for a very famous person that I cannot name. It was
Yeah.
quite a bit larger than this, and by myself, and I had to handle the whole thing in my own account. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but I had to handle all the accounting of all the money and the transfer and everything. And but GoFundMe has you when you're doing it yourself, you have to have the person who's going to get the money, the benefactor. They have to sign into your GoFundMe and then verify, yes, this is who I am, and I'm going to be receiving this money. And then they have to put their bank information on there too. You don't see it, but they have to put their bank information.
Yeah.
So then once the GoFundMe is done, then you get the bank information, right? You get it in your bank, and then you don't transfer it from. It's really weird. The way they do it is kind of weird. You would think that you would just say, okay, now I'm done with it, right? Transfer it to their bank.
Yeah.
No, they go ahead and put it in your bank, and then you got to transfer it to their bank. It's so dumb. I wish I could have just washed my hands of it right then and just had it put in their bank.
Yeah. So my understanding is that the original GoFundMe was put up by Sammy.
No, it was actually put up by that other name. It started with an A.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a different last name that started with an A.
Do we know if she's one of the kids?
It was on. I just saw it this morning. It said
it's like Amy or something.
Yeah, it was like AMIE, I believe. Yes.
But the reason I asked that is because Sammy is on video. She says we started a GoFundMe. It's talking about the website that they put up. She said
that's
we built the
website. Sammy puts her little grubby paws in everything. That's all. She said we on everything. That's all. She just wanted to be in everything. She's the center. She's the center of the universe. That's it.
Well, but now she's got a surrogate. She's got somebody speaking for her.
Yeah.
So, right.
Right.
So the whole thing is very curious to me.
Did you see what they did today with the Alert California website?
No. No.
You can't access any of the cameras now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they pulled all the access.
Why?
This morning. They don't want us nosing around anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, they're done. I wonder if they even knew. I mean, it's kind of weird. Once they figured out that we all knew that those cameras were there, they pulled the access. So,
look, I have had people think I was completely out of line because I had been saying
Amy Coyarte. Yeah.
Captain Sam Brown, to me, he makes me very uncomfortable. He doesn't. I think there's some funny business going on behind the scenes. And I've been calling them out fairly hard and second guessing what they've done. And I've owned it and said people aren't going to like, what I'm saying. Again, this gets me right back to, her car is there. It's 5 feet under the water and they're paddling around out there in their scuba diving equipment and going, oh, well, we just overlooked it. No, you didn't. That is not true. But now they overlooked the laptop and now they've overlooked the car going into the water, the actual footage of the car going in the water. Oh, yeah, we didn't know. Well, you've got a young woman who's claiming she called you and told you that it's on the video. So now they've pulled access. Wow.
Yeah, you can't access any of it anymore. I put a video on my channel of how when you go now to the website, you can't do anything. If you're still on it, by the way, if anybody watching this, if you're still on it and you're still in the archive, keep doing stuff, because once you go idle, you can't do anything. And once you close it, that's it.
Yeah, I would be very interested.
If you're on it, they already clipped, for people who are even on it, they already clipped the 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. is what people who were still on it was saying this morning.
So it's gone? The 12 to 1 is gone?
The 12 to 1, they edited out. And then everything else is gone.
Oh
access
my
to it,
God.
which is kind of weird, isn't it?
It's so weird because it's after the fact. It's out now. How many people have made videos with this
Yeah.
footage?
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is I would be interested to go in and look at the weekend before and the weekend after to look to
Exactly.
see.
That's why they pulled it, because they don't want us doing that.
Yeah, just to kind of look at the traffic. Does it seem like it's
Mhm.
average for that time of night, for that day of the week? And it to look and see, you could actually access the daytime camera and see if there's a lot of cars down there by the water.
And they realized that we noticed that there wasn't no 400 people at that party.
There
There
was
wasn't no
not 400 people.
300 people at that party.
No, not at all. I kind of think, and I've been thinking this for a while. I think that there was a group of people that specifically said, "Hey, let's meet up at the what's it called, the sanctuary? Is that what it's called? Let
Sanctuary, right.
let's meet up at the sanctuary for whatever it was that they had going on." And then you had that 9 or 10 cars come in. They did whatever it was that they were going to do, and then they all left together. I don't think it was a big 3, 4, 500 people party. I don't believe that.
Right.
So,
I've been
and the
saying
lights prove
I've
it,
been
right?
saying that since day one. Literally, that was my theory from day one, was that the party was more close down to the water. It wasn't as many people as anybody ever thought from day one. And I always thought that it involved very few people, that very few people ever even knew what happened anyway.
Yeah,
And that's why it was able to be, quiet. Everybody was saying, "Oh, there's no way. There's no photos and videos on the internet. There's 400 people there at this party. There's no way. There's people there from Reno and Sacramento and blah, blah, blah. There's no way." No, there wasn't people there from wherever.
now
The people that
Megan,
were from far away were up higher, at the other party.
yeah,
That there were some people up higher, but the party that we're talking about, the sanctuary down lower, where the fight, the
yeah,
Friday night fight,
yeah,
that was down lower. People aren't understanding. There's the separation there.
yeah. And
And I
it's
think people are starting to
interesting.
get it now. I'm like, I told y'all, I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you. I'm over here
Yeah,
going, I told you, I told you, I told you.
yeah, yeah.
I'm saying,
No,
I
no, this
freaking told you, I told you.
it's it's
Told you guys. And I
silly.
literally, oh God, I wish I could just get face to face with a certain creator and go, I told you, I told you, I told you.
Yeah, yeah. But
It's
part of that,
ridiculous.
part of that would in the hindsight is of course, 2020. But
Yeah.
in the early days, you got to be careful, but when you're doing a YouTube channel, and you got to be careful if you find
True.
something that looks interesting, because so many people will come back and they'll say you're a liar, you intentionally misled, you intentionally put out bad information. And so I think it's made a lot of people um, uh, they're scared to go with interesting information that they found.
Mhm.
I did a video a couple of days ago with the Debbie Collier thing, where the news, while they're reporting on Debbie Collier, they show a search and retrieval, where they two pictures of like a rock face, like a ravine, and they're retrieving the body from the bottom of this ravine. Within the report itself, they say that she's found in a ravine. And so
Yes,
what
I
do you
was
think?
watching.
What do you
Hmm.
think when you watch this? When you watch that and you see those two pictures, you think, "Wow, that's a hell of a ravine." And
Yeah, and
so,
that was yours, right?
yeah, and so I
Uh-huh.
put it up and I said, "Wow, this is very interesting because this is something I haven't paid attention to." And what if this is really
Uh-huh.
it? I mean, she could have fallen, or they could have pushed her, but this is a much different prospect than lying in a forest on your back. This is a whole
Yeah.
different ball game. And of course, everybody just thought, "Oh, you're being dishonest, and you're a liar, and you didn't check your sources." And I'm like, "Well, I checked to make sure what it came from. I knew the station was real, and I would
Mhm.
think that they would be honest about what they were putting out." So
Yeah, and it was from a previous story.
yeah, it was actually
Um,
from a guy that died in October 2021, who
yeah,
fell uh, to his death. But it was right there where they found her. I mean, it's in it's the same, situation. They continue to say that she was found at the bottom of a ravine or a crevice, or they're using different words. So I still don't think we have a very good picture of where she actually was. They do have the little burned area near the tree stump, but anyway, you got to be careful because people just they like to
yeah,
troll and they like to
yeah.
build
That
things up.
that case, I've been following that case too, and it is
It's
quite
crazy,
sad.
right?
Yeah, that case, I think I got that one kind of figured out because
Yeah.
if you look at that one, I don't know if you're following that one, but
I am. Yeah, definitely.
if you take, I mean, that one's just simple math. If you take 475 and multiply that by 5, that's 23 75. You add $10, that's 23.85. That's the
And the
amount of the
four, was that related to the rehab?
the rehab is, yeah, that's 5 months of rehab.
Okay.
So she could have had 475 in cash, right?
Yeah.
So that's 6 months of rehab. He was coming up on his 12-month mark, Andrew. He had 1 year to complete rehab. So he would have been looking at jail time. He and Amanda was probably pressuring her.
Yeah.
He was ordered in January. So he was ordered in January to get his treatment completed.
Wow.
And I have a copy of that on my channel, by the way. I did a
But
video
he
on
wouldn't
it.
have if September 20th was the date, then he wouldn't have been completed with rehab in a year. He would have been over the year time, right?
If you're in inpatient, actually, they'll extend it.
Okay, so he had 1 year to get into a program.
Well, if that actually would have extended it if you're in rehab.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
If that would have actually bought him time. If you're in outpatient, though, they won't extend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
That actually
So
would
what
have
do
bought
you
him time.
think?
But
What what
so I think what they did was they said, "Hey, he'll go to rehab." So she drove down there and she was going to go check it out, right? She had the money. She goes up there to go check it out, but they wouldn't see her without seeing him. So she sends the Venmo and they wouldn't see him. So she sends the Venmo. They won't let me go. Here's the money, right? They won't let me go. What's the Venmo say exactly again? They won't let me go.
Yeah, love you, and the
Love
key is
you.
under the blue.
The key is under the blue pot.
Mhm.
But really, what that meant was because you only get a very few characters in Venmo. They won't let me go in without y'all. They won't let me go in without Andrew. The key is under the blue pot. Now that he's not going to be staying there, now you can come in.
Yeah.
That was the whole deal. She couldn't be there because of Andrew.
Oh, wow.
There was a
Hmm.
big thing about
So you don't think
conflict.
Andrew was with her in was it Virginia, where the brother lives?
I don't know about where they were in the past. I just know that she had just come back a couple of days before, right? The daughter and the boyfriend.
Yeah,
And,
they came back like on the night of the 8th, morning of the 9th.
right. There's a huge conflict about that too.
Yeah, there was a big
Amanda came back
brouhaha.
alone.
Maryland. Yeah, Maryland. Thank you, niece. Yeah, so
And there's a big
I
conflict about that. And mom did not want Andrew there. She was willing to do anything. She was quite a good mama, very much an enabler. You could tell, you could just
yeah,
see she was an enabler.
yeah.
And she wanted Andrew to go get treatment. She wanted the best for her daughter, so she wanted him to go get treatment. And I
But
bet you she was willing to pay for it.
who do you think was more manipulative? You think it was Amanda, or do you think it is Andrew?
I think it was Andrew.
You think
But I
he's more
think Amanda
manipulative?
went along with it because she was probably very codependent.
Hmm.
And
So
I
you
think
don't
now,
believe
I think right now, I think Amanda's probably playing right along with it. If you've seen all of his weird social media posts on 10 to Life's social media.
No, I have not seen
Very,
that.
very strange. Oh my word. I've got all the screenshots.
Did you do a video on it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to your channel. Well,
Oh
y'all,
my word.
will somebody drop her link into the chat, please? I'm gonna definitely go over and.
I can't tell if he is. She verified that it's really him. That's really him. He sent his ID, his driver's license, his credit card, and social security card, and everything. It's really him making these posts on her channel. So it's really him. But sometimes he posts as him, like like I, me, and then sometimes he posts as like third person. Like
That's so weird.
Yes, like he and they and like what?
Yeah.
And so it's him or it's him and her. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just the strangest thing. You've got to see these text messages.
I'm
So
gonna definitely go watch it for sure.
it's really weird. Now, keep in mind, okay, y'all, I'm brand new at this, so my videos are not that great.
Oh, they're wonderful. They're
not that great. So don't expect too much, okay?
No, you're fine. Did anybody drop a link? I don't even know if I have any mods in the room. Let me go to your channel and get the link so we can get everybody over there. So how do you feel about the video of him when he's at her house in the morning trying to get his clothes and he's complaining about money? Do you think that you think he's actually there to hurt her, or do you think he's telling the truth that she's taking his money? So I'm talking about
when I watched that video, I think he was being very narcissistic and probably full of it. I really do.
So you think he was there to harass her, and he just came up with this
I really do.
story about, oh, she's stealing my money, yada yada.
I really, really do. Yeah. Okay. I really do. I watched it a few times. I've known a few narcissists.
Yeah, there's a few of them on YouTube now that you mention it.
Yes. Yeah, there's a few. I think that they were both. I think that they're both narcissists, right? I think I see a little bit of that in Amanda too. But I think that if you are around somebody like that, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, it can rub off on you, right?
Sure. I mean, you get into the whole
codependency thing, right?
Sure.
It can, that toxic relationship, that what's that the word I'm looking for? I guess it's just that trauma bonding.
Yes. Yeah.
Trauma bonding. So I think they've got a lot of that going on right now. Mm-hmm. So because it's either those posts that I'm seeing weird, like today's post is the weirdest one. Literally, it sounds like it's maybe Amanda saying it.
What is it? What is the post?
Talking about how he has the body of a Greek god.
That Andrew does?
Yes. It's public on 10 to Life's page.
Oh, wow.
It's creepy. I mean, literally, her mother was just murdered, and supposedly she's talking about his body. What? I don't think so.
That is very strange.
Yes, it's really weird.
Are we sure it's really him?
It's really him. She said, I guarantee you guys this is him. I've got his ID, credit card, social, and the whole bit. It's really him.
Gosh,
I'm like, I don't know if the dude's trying to set himself up for a, mental defect defense or what, but
yeah.
Or if it's both of them posting together and they're sadistic as hell, but yeah.
I know. So I am, wait a minute. I think, no, that's 10 to 11. Okay. So I'm trying to find your channel and I'm not getting to come up. So if you'll say something.
It's just my name. It's my name. Oh,
if you'll say something in the chat, I'll make you a mod, and then you can link your own channel.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can copy and paste your channel link and then put it into the chat.
Okay.
I don't know why I can't find it. I found one that was talking about, like 21 steps or so. It wasn't true crime related. Fueled by coffee and true crime. That's you.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm adding you as a moderator. Okay. So you're a moderator now. So you can go over to your channel and copy your channel link and then paste it in the chat. And then everybody can go over there and subscribe and look at the information that you've got up. And then of course I'm really interested for the video that Olivia is getting ready to drop. Yeah, thank you, Fueled. Yay. Okay, y'all. So I hope you guys will go to her channel and subscribe. Let me pop over there and do the same. I'm thinking I'm already subscribed to you. I am.
I would be honored.
I am already subscribed. Okay. You must have had something. I wonder what I would have. I bet I watched some of your Kiely Rodni videos. Oh, who pulled access to the Prosser cams? Yay. Okay. I'm ready.
I've just kind of started. I'm just learning. So
no, you're great. It's wonderful. Okay. All right, everybody, please, she's definitely on the case, or she wouldn't know that they had already pulled access to the cameras that caught the actual footage of the car going into the lake. So I hope you guys will definitely go over, click the link, go over and subscribe and watch her videos and help her out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, go over to Olivia's. Olivia is Chronicles of Olivia. She's who I was on a panel with yesterday. I'm sorry, I gotta answer my little girl. 1 hour. She's who I was on live yesterday with. Do check her out because she's the one who figured out how to go live. I haven't figured out even how to go live yet. I tried and I failed. Fell on my face. It was so funny.
When you say that you tried and failed, what happened?
I thought I was live and I wasn't. I was just sitting here and I thought I was live and I.
Okay. Are you going through YouTube or are you using like software? Are you doing
I thought I was live and I was on StreamYard and I hit go live and nothing happened. It was funny.
Yeah, you probably
maybe
you don't think you were live, but maybe you just didn't click add to the stream.
Yeah, maybe you can help me with that sometime.
I will completely help you. I would absolutely be happy to help you. Absolutely. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was funny though, because I was just sitting here waiting, going, huh.
And you're like, nobody's saying anything.
I know. I even made a little intro video and everything, and I was going, okay, this sucks.
We'll have to make plans and we can go live on your channel and I'll post it on my channel and we'll get it all set up and get it going. Okay.
That'd be cool.
Okay. Good deal.
Yes, I love your channel. Love your stuff. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. I'm honored that you decided to come up. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I actually am posting the link right now. Olivia has actually she's uploaded the information about the lights, Kiely's car going into the water.
Oh, good.
Yep. So thank you, because you've now given me the first 3 things I'm going to do, which is to watch your video on them pulling access to the cameras. I'm going to watch Olivia in terms of how she edited the car going into the water, so maybe we can see things, a little bit better. And then I'm definitely going to go over to 10 to Life and see the freaky Andrew show.
All right. Yep, I'm going to go watch that. Let me see. Chronicles of Olivia, is it up?
It is up. Yep. I just posted it.
Oh, you mean hang on. Oh, you mean the car lights in Prosser from yesterday?
Oh, is that one from I thought that was the one
from yesterday.
Okay,
that's our live from yesterday.
Okay, so she has another one that will be coming sometime today.
Correct. This is
Okay.
her more edited, more with a better overlay. This was our live yesterday where we just went over the website. She did a little bit of overlay work, but the one where we were up till 4 o'clock playing around with
Okay.
it, and she did a lot of work overnight.
Very good. Well, I'm definitely
This video
going to
is
go
going to be
watch.
really cool. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm eager. I am
But
so grateful to you for coming in, Coffee and True Crime.
my
we
name
will
is Debbie.
nice to meet you, Debbie. I'm a real life Karen. I really am. So good to meet you.
I am
Um,
very much a real live Debbie.
yeah, everybody calls me Jules, though. I think I'll always on YouTube. I'll always be Jules. So, um, but we'll get together and see if we can figure out, going live, and I'll let everybody know on my channel that we're over on your channel live one night, and we'll
All right.
kind of do that.
I
Okay.
kind of enjoy panel hopping too, so it's kind of fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it was
I like
good.
coming
I'm
around
so
and
grateful to
supporting
you for
everybody.
coming up.
All right, I will see you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, people. Well, that was fun. I like Debbie, right? She's awesome. Okay. All right. So we got a lot of information. Very interesting that they've already pulled access to the cameras. That is so interesting. Um, if you still have access to the cameras, keep on accessing them, or if you go idle, then you're going to lose access, and they're not letting anybody sign up new. And even if you're still on it, they've already pulled that section between 12 and 1 o'clock. But the YouTube true crime world, they have multiple copies of the video. So there you have it. So we'll have to see. I would be very interested to know, like, on a regular Friday night or regular Saturday night, same time, what does the traffic look like? What did the traffic look like that day that the search first started? Did it seem like there was any unusual, comings and goings? Um, I I think the cameras could be really valuable. Of course, now they pulled the access. That's so weird, right? It doesn't help their case. They already look shady. They already look like they're engaging in a cover up, and this just makes it worse. Now, you know, I guess it's possible. Maybe people would say no, they have to protect the information in case there's a trial. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Um, but it feels kind of shady, right? Little shady. Thank you again for having me. Got to go cook dinner. Cook something yummy. Thank you, Coffee and True Crime. Good to have you. Yeah, Debbie was awesome. Yep. When you go live straight from YouTube, we can't bring up a panel guest like on StreamYard. Yeah, so I went through. I always use StreamYard, but I had to go into YouTube to like make her a mod so that she could post her link. SF Investigates created that diversion, and it's taking 2 days around all true crime channel, maybe to help. Oh, please, Liza. We don't know that. She honestly, okay, I myself have been the focus of people saying, "Oh, you're a liar. You posted the two pictures of with Debbie Collier because you're a liar. You're just trying to be sensationalist or whatever." The truth is, I looked up to make sure, is this really a news station? Was this really on the regular local news? And I really believed that they would be honest, that they would be that they would have integrity. And the pictures matched the semantics of the reporting piece. And I thought that we had all overlooked that piece. And so I made a video and I say, is this important? I was even a little measured, about being careful. And I had most people were very gracious and kind, and it, wasn't a problem. But there were some people that came back and said, "No, you're a liar." Blah, blah, blah. So, I've been on the receiving end of some of the opinionated reactions, I guess. Um, so, are there a lot of people that look at Megan and they're a bit suspect? Um, yeah, and it does seem like she's speaking for Sammy. It does seem like she's drawing attention to herself. She's creating a diversion that is it is intersecting with the fact that Sammy has removed all of her TikTok videos. And I really do believe Megan does say that she doesn't think that Sammy is helping herself um, with the types of videos that she was putting up. And I think Sammy was sort of thumbing her nose at the world and saying, haha, you're not going to control me. You can point your finger and say, I did something, but I'm still going to be me. And I think she was, in that powerful personality that she has, I think she was kind of pushing back against all the negative attention. But that Megan, told her, hey, this isn't working for you. This is making this hard for you. I can't disagree with all that, but I think what I would not like knowingly steps up into the limelight and creates a diversion to try to pull attention away from Sammy. I think if that were the case, if that is what is actually happening, I think I would not like that. I think I would disagree with that, right? But we don't really have any way of knowing. I think that what we know for a fact is we get this camera footage drop. We get a person who is from Truckee who knows a lot of these players related to the disappearance of Kiely, and she's very active on YouTube, going from multiple panels. Um, and I think I don't believe in coincidences. And sometimes I'm wrong about that. Sometimes something is actually a coincidence, and I've been skeptical and said, no, I don't believe it. So yeah, you got to try to, keep an open mind. You mean they're telling the same exact, almost word for word, rehearsed bits of story while inserting new contradictory bits? Yes, Petunia. That is, have you ever heard about the analogy of the frog in boiling water? Right? So we're sort of the frogs, and the social media stories seemingly always driven by SF Investigates. That's the boiling water, and we're all just being slowly acclimated so that we don't freak out, right? They just want to keep us nice and calm and not, but I've already freaked out. I think Sam Brown is not, well, I don't think he's being completely honest. That's true. My opinion. Hey, Meg. Yeah, Meg, I know. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? Yeah, it is a tangled mess. It's sad. It's confusing. It's and really none of it is really doesn't affect me in my day-to-day life, except I'm horrified by the character assassination of Adventures with Purpose. It is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. They are good people. They have done great work. And up until they met Truckee, California, their reputation was without question. So it's a weird thing that a whole community would celebrate incompetence of the police, but then they villainize the highly skilled competence of AWP. It's weird. Call me crazy, but it's weird. And they should be compensated according to the original GoFundMe. they did what the GoFundMe was for. That GoFundMe was to get people's attention, to get them interested in going out and searching for Kiely. And that is exactly what they did. And it cost them money. It cost them money to drive across the country. It cost them money using gasoline and fuel to do the time, paying all of their support staff. It cost them money, and they are entitled to fair remuneration, period. Greg says, I don't know if Sammy had anything to do with it, but observing Sammy in her interviews and how many times she looks up and to her right, especially the end of night timeline, she's not being truthful. She does seem to stumble for her story, doesn't she? She does. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I mean, I get the whole neurological access, you know, I get all that, but also people have behavioral habits, and some people develop a habit of either looking down or looking up across the ceiling. So the only way that looking at behavior as an indication of truth or lying would be if you have a baseline. If you have something that you can study before they start talking about whatever topic, and then you compare that to what they do while they're talking about the topic of interest. Otherwise, it's, you know, it's just purely theoretical, and anybody knows that gets messy. Black Rose, you are a sweetheart. Thank you so much. AWP is awesome. They are awesome. And I think that we all need to sign and take a stand that they are doing a really great job giving answers to families, and they earned that money, period. Which video, Brian? Are you talking about the lights of the car? That's right, Teresa. Yeah, everybody, thank you, Cinnamon. Cinnamon dropped the link to AWP. If you haven't subscribed to their channel, I hope you will, just as a show of support, please. AWP absolutely is entitled to that reward, 100%. I and my daughter have their black and red hat. Wonderful. Very cool. I ordered a couple of t-shirts from them. Jared broke my heart watching him during the Jed case. What absolute just tough to watch, wasn't it, Steph? So hard to watch. So hard to watch. Those guys have seen some things. They're not just out there paddling around out in the water. It takes a toll emotionally to be confronted with real evil. And some of the cases that they've helped solve, it hadn't been people looking to self-harm, and it wasn't people that it was an accident. Some of them, it was, you know, nefarious, up to no good problems. So, listen, you guys are amazing. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. My live has already gone way longer than I had anticipated that it might. Thank you, because I know sometimes these opinion videos are kind of, you know, boring, and y'all were here and y'all are great, and I appreciate it. And thank y'all for being so nice to crime, fueled by coffee and true crime. I hope you'll go over to her channel and subscribe and watch her videos. She's done a lot. She did some on Debbie Collier and some on Kiely. She seems to know Olivia, and it's working with Chronicles by Olivia. And she's a gifted she's a gifted creator in terms of filmmaking, right? So I think she's definitely got a future um, creating documentaries, movies, things like that. So um, thank you, Gregory. Thank you, Muffin Top. Thank you, Fueled. I hope you cook something yummy tonight. Bye, Stealth Mode. We value your opinions and insight. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Hey, Kindness Cake. And Faraway Downs, my friend Sundown Farms. All right. Y'all had this Friday. Can you believe it? It's actually Friday. Oh my God. Tomorrow I sleep late. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Okay. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. Even more than that, would you please do a thumbs up just to try to wake up the algorithm a little bit? And I always read your comments when you leave them underneath the video. I read the comments at night as I'm getting ready to fall asleep. So even if you put your shopping list, maybe Fueled by Coffee and True Crime could put her taco recipe under the comments under the video. Okay. So leave me a comment, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and go to Fueled by Coffee and True Crime video and watch her channel. Okay. Right now, I'm on my way over to Tend to Life so I can see what Creepy Andrew is up to. All right. Y'all join me. Let's all go over and see what in the world Creepy Andrew is up to. Y'all have a good evening. Bye.